I never thought my life would take a turn like this on such a normal evening. It was a Saturday night, nothing special. No rain, no sun, just a tired evening after a long week filled with meetings and paperwork. Lauren, my fiancée, was laughing and chatting away in the kitchen with her close friends. I was stretched out on the couch in the living room, pretending to sleep, with the TV on low enough to mask the sound of my phone as I quietly scrolled through Reddit. But then, amidst the laughter, I heard my name. Brian. A silence, then Jennifer's laugh, mocking and light, like a sharp jab. "What about the lease?" Jennifer asked. Lauren burst into laughter, and that laugh, I'll never forget it. "As long as one person stays, it won't matter. He'll be the one stuck with the lease and all the debt." I don't know how long I lay still. Maybe 5 minutes, maybe 50. Time felt like it froze. In my mind, there was a silent storm. It wasn't anger. It wasn't pain. It was absolute shock. Part of me wanted to jump up, scream at her, demand an explanation, a reason. But the rational part of me told me, don't. Just stay still. Don't give anything away. And I did. When they finished talking and moved on to another subject, some reality TV show or whatever, I slowly got up, pretending to stretch, and then told Lauren I was tired. She smiled and asked if I wanted to go to bed right then. I nodded, then went to the bedroom, facing the wall. My back was cold. She came in after, lay beside me, pulled the blanket over me, and gently placed her hand on my shoulder. I fought to keep from trembling when she touched me. The next morning, I woke up earlier than usual. I made coffee for both of us, like I do every weekend. She came out of the bedroom, wearing a soft gray pajama set, her hair a little messy, looking like a carefree woman enjoying a day off. "I love you most," she said, standing on tiptoe to kiss my cheek. It felt like a punch to the heart. I didn't respond. I just smiled and handed her the coffee. She curled up on the couch, opened her phone, and started scrolling through TikTok. I sat across from her, my eyes fixed on the TV screen, but my mind was racing. She thought I was a fool, a pathetic idiot with a soft heart, completely unaware that I was being used as a financial pawn. But she was wrong. On Monday, I called in sick at work, the first time in 2 years. Lauren had a meeting with a client in the morning, so she left the house early. As soon as the door slammed shut, I rushed to her laptop. The password was her mother's birthday. I knew it because she'd asked me to log in for her a few times before. What I found inside was another world. Secret emails, a hidden Facebook account, a whole series of pictures with some guy I'd never seen before, even during the time she told me she was visiting her sister. Then bank statements, a separate account I never knew existed. It had images of my bank card, investment apps, savings accounts, even my wallet. Every detail was recorded, every penny. I sat there for hours, my heart pounding like a drum, hands shaking so much I could barely hold the mouse. I took pictures of everything, saved it to an external hard drive, uploaded it to a secret Google Drive. That's when I realized this wasn't just betrayal. This was an orchestrated scheme, meticulously planned, from the lavish wedding to the forced joint accounts. When she came home that evening, I kept a smile on my face. I still hugged her as if nothing had happened. Lauren kept talking about upgrading the wedding menu, from regular cakes to a 3-tier chocolate-covered wedding cake. I nodded. I agreed. But in my head, every step of my counterattack was beginning to take shape. I'm not the smartest or most perceptive person, but I'm the kind of guy who, once I see the truth, can't pretend I didn't see it. "Transferring money?" she asked. "Or setting up the joint account for after the wedding?" I smiled. "Something like that." I left the house and began the first phase of the operation. Step 1. Cut off the financial ties. I drove 10 miles to a bank branch Lauren had never been to. I opened a separate savings account, along with a checking account in my name only. I transferred most of my savings from the joint account into the new one, leaving just enough in the old account to avoid suspicion. I also requested the bank to send the new debit card to my office, not to the house. Being cautious was key to survival. That afternoon, I logged into every financial account I had, from investments to retirement accounts, changed all the passwords, added 2-factor authentication, and checked the login history. Nothing had been compromised. But the truth was, once we were married, Lauren would legally have access to everything. I wasn't going to let that happen. Step 2. Create the illusion of wealth. Lauren thought I had more money than I really did, and I decided to let her continue believing that. I created a few fake investment documents. Nothing illegal, but convincing enough for someone without financial knowledge. Some colorful printouts, flashy investment logos, balance columns with hundreds of thousands of dollars. I accidentally left the stack of papers on the kitchen counter when I went out to take out the trash. When I came back, the papers had been lightly shuffled, a clear sign that Lauren had been snooping. That evening, she suddenly spoke in the sweetest tone. "Babe, we should probably consolidate our finances before the wedding, huh? It'll make it easier to manage our joint expenses." I couldn't help but laugh inside. The plan had worked. I pretended to hesitate and then said, I think it's time." She kissed me on the cheek. I sat there, feeling the kiss as light as smoke. A goodbye, not intimacy. Step 3. Record and save the evidence. The next evening, I spent my time backing up all the evidence. Her emails to Jennifer, screenshots of bank statements, contact information for some guy named Bryce, the one who, according to text messages, drives a BMW and takes her out to restaurants whenever I'm working late. I uploaded everything to Google Drive, set a password, made it read-only, and sent a copy to Richard, my best friend, the one who had introduced me to Lauren. Richard was shocked, completely. He slammed his fist on the table when he read the message. "Once I get the money, I'll disappear." I had to hold him back when he said, "I'm calling that crazy woman right now." I shook my head. "Not yet. I'm not ready to end it. I'll end it on my terms." Step 4. Playing the role of the perfect husband. I started becoming the man of Lauren's dreams. I went to work on time, came home at the usual hour, asked her every evening about the wedding, complimented everything she chose, bought flowers every week, and even initiated conversations about naming our future children. She smiled radiantly. And me? I captured every smile, stored it in my mind, as the last piece of proof of a Lauren I once thought was real. I still did it all with her. I still had dinner with her. We still discussed wedding venues, cakes, invitations. Everything was a perfect performance. But behind the scenes, I was designing the stage to collapse on the big night. Step 5. Meeting with the lawyer. I found a lawyer through an acquaintance. Her name was Amanda, sharp, composed, and the only one who didn't ask, "Are you sure she's doing this?" "I don't need to guess." I handed her the hard drive with all the evidence. "I have everything." Amanda said only one thing. "Then we'll play by the rules, but we'll make her taste the blade she's been sharpening all this time." Finally, the big day arrived. The day Lauren called the happiest day of my life. A month ago, if anyone had asked me how I felt about marrying the woman I loved, I would have said I felt nervous, excited, and full of hope. But now all I feel is silence, a terrifying silence, like standing in the middle of a storm where everything is about to collapse, but the wind hasn't even started to howl. Lauren still thought I was the lovable fool, the devoted groom, working myself to the bone to prepare for her dream wedding. But behind those late nights I spent working overtime were the meetings I had with Amanda, my lawyer, preparing every document, every account freeze order, every detail of the escape plan. 3 days before the wedding, I moved all my important personal items, documents, savings accounts, family mementos, into a rented storage unit on the north side of the city. I even pretended to clean up the house before the wedding, asking Lauren to help me pack some boxes, unaware that she was actually packing up the very future she'd dreamed of into boxes of memories that would soon be erased. Richard, my best friend, had been following everything behind the scenes since day one. He helped me check the camera systems at the wedding venue and contacted the event manager to block any attempts from Lauren if she tried to salvage the situation. The night before the wedding, we had the rehearsal dinner. Both families were there, toasting as if nothing could ruin their joy. Lauren's mother even gave a long speech about eternal love and how wonderful the man her daughter had found was. I sat there smiling and nodding like the perfect groom, while Lauren glowed. The pure white dress made her look like an angel. But inside, I knew that beneath the lace, There was a woman hiding clause, ready to tear apart the finances and trust of anyone who loved her enough to give everything. After dinner, Lauren went home with her bridesmaids. As tradition goes, we slept separately the night before the wedding. I texted her, "Good night, babe. Tomorrow's our special day." She replied almost immediately, "I still can't believe you're mine forever. Promise you won't make the bride wait, my groom." I set my phone down. With a heart that wasn't aching, only coldness remained. The next morning, the wedding day, 7 a.m. I woke up early. Sunlight streamed through the thin curtains of the temporary room Richard had lent me. The room had no flowers, no suit, no wedding photos, just me and the truth. I had breakfast with Richard in silence. Neither of us said much. No need. We had planned everything down to the minute. My laptop sat on the table, an email ready to send. At 9 a.m., I sent a wedding cancellation email to the venue, the restaurant, the band, the photographer, all the vendors on the list. I also sent notifications to each guest with a simple subject line. Today's wedding is canceled. The reason will be clear in a few minutes. At 9:15 a.m., I sent the fateful text to Lauren. "Lauren, I know everything. I know you told Jennifer you were leaving me after you got the money. I know about the secret accounts, the men you've been seeing. I heard it all, on girls' night when you thought I was asleep. I'm not showing up to the wedding. I'm not anyone's groom. I've moved out. All my stuff is gone. The engagement ring is fake. The love you had for me was too. Goodbye." I presented the bank manager with evidence that Mara had secretly transferred $320,000 from our joint account into 3 newly opened personal accounts. As expected, the manager, a middle-aged woman with a razor-sharp gaze, immediately took action. All 3 accounts were temporarily frozen on the spot under an urgent legal request. Leaving the bank, I headed to Joan's office. She was waiting for me with 3 thick files, so heavy they could double as pillows. "Today we clean up the chessboard, Russell," she said, her eyes bright with anticipation, as though she was preparing for a battle she'd been waiting for a long time. "And she won't have time to react." 11 a.m., Lauren's mom called. I didn't pick up. Her dad texted, "Son, if this is true, I'm sorry, but can we meet and talk?" I haven't replied. As for Lauren, at 11:30 a.m., Richard and I were watching the camera feed outside the apartment. She came home, heels thrown around, wedding dress a mess, mascara smeared, tears streaming down her face, a white mess under the sunlight of what should have been her wedding day. She yelled into her phone, then threw it on the bed and buried her face in her hands. No one showed up for the wedding, no band, no party, no groom. Just a bride in a $4,000 dress, sitting amidst the ruined wedding flowers and the lies being exposed. When I sent that final message to Lauren, I thought the emotions would hit me like a wave crashing onto the shore. But no, nothing. Just relief. That afternoon, while I should have been standing at the altar, hand in hand with the woman I thought was my future, I was sitting in a small coffee shop with Richard, drinking my second cold brew and silently watching the street, where young couples were holding hands like nothing in the world could separate them. We used to be like that, I thought, until she said, "Once I get his money, I'll be gone in a month." I didn't respond to any more of Lauren's messages after that morning. The call switched from anger to desperation, then back to anger. She screamed in the final voicemail, "You'll regret this. No one loved you like I did." But no, you never loved me. You just loved my wallet. 3 days later, I moved into my new apartment. It's small, simple, with white walls and creaky wood floors. But it's the first space in years where I could finally breathe freely. No more wedding flowers, no more Instagram dreams, no more lies wrapped in calculated kisses. I bought a few basic things, some cheap wall art, a gray bed set, no need for anyone's approval or permission. Every step I took on the floor was a step back toward the life I had lost when I loved the wrong person. 10 days after the failed wedding, I received an unexpected email from Lauren's father. "Derek, I can't even begin to express how disappointed I am. I believed my daughter was someone I could proudly introduce to anyone. I was wrong. I know she is at fault, and if possible, I want to apologize on her behalf. If you're willing, I'd like to meet with you, not to beg for anything, but simply to thank you. Because despite the way it ended, you gave her 3 years of happiness. even though she didn't appreciate it. Dan, I haven't replied, but I read it over and over again. A week later, Lauren started posting on Instagram with captions like, "The main character healing. Sometimes you have to lose everything to find yourself summoner stronger." The photo was a sunset selfie, and she still looked beautiful. But I didn't feel anything. Ironically, the comments below were full of encouragement. "You deserve to be loved. He didn't know how to appreciate you. Queen, keep shining." I smirked. Maybe they wouldn't think that way if they heard the recording. As for me, I was slowly coming back to life. I went back to the gym, not for anyone else, but for myself. I spent my weekends reading, walking, and something I never thought I'd do, learning to cook. I wasn't ready to date, but at least I was dating myself again. One day, while unpacking boxes I hadn't opened since moving, I found Lauren's old coffee mug, the one with a crack in it that she had refused to throw away, saying, "It's still usable, it just doesn't look perfect anymore." I held the mug for a long time. Then I put it in a small box, along with a few other things of hers. I wasn't angry, nor was I heartbroken. It was just time to return what was no longer mine. I took the box to the post office, leaving no note. Just a quiet goodbye, but one with finality. That's how I ended a 3-year relationship with a single message. No wedding, no wedding rings, no romantic speeches. Just a man who decided not to let himself be turned into the pathetic fool they once thought he was. If you've made it this far, thank you for joining me in this journey. If you've loved the wrong person, been betrayed, been deceived, remember, you have the right to rise up, walk out of the flames, and rebuild yourself. If you enjoy authentic, dramatic stories about love, betrayal, and the journey to find yourself, please hit subscribe, drop a heart, and share this story with anyone who needs the motivation to move forward. Thank you for listening.